Now call me whatever you want, dumb, naive, special in the head. I got a foldable phone and I love it. If you're someone who just craves attention, this is a phone for you to get, because once you unfold this thing, people will look at you. If they become friends with you, that's a different story. There were many things on my mind after I broke my piggy bank and got this phone. How was the crease going to be? Will I have to baby the phone around? Will the phone just randomly break on me? Is my fingernail going to damage the screen? Will the screen start flickering for no reason? A lot of things were going through my head. Luckily, I have a warranty for about 3 months for anything that goes wrong that isn't my fault. So let's say the screen starts just randomly flickering for no reason, or the battery just drains for no reason. The fine people at Digital World Brunei will have it replaced. Now this gives me a peace of mind, and if you don't know Digital World, it's a store that sells almost anything tech related. Phones, Windows, PCs, MacBooks, iMacs, cases, phone accessories, TVs, even home appliances. They got everything. So if you're watching from Brunei, you should check them out. They didn't sponsor this video, but they're worth recommending. Now back to the Flip Boy. Just like every Samsung phone released in the last 2 years, it comes in a box that's meant for coloring pencils. It's just mind-blowing to think, if someone just dropped $1,000 on a foldable phone, something that's relatively new, maybe the presentation should be a bit better to make them happy with their purchase, not this. But we know we're not getting a better box. In the box, you get just a phone, a cable, paperwork, and then a SIM ejector too. I'm combining this unboxing and review video together because if I just unboxed the phone, this video would be 15 seconds. Out of all the fears I had about this phone, none of them have actually come true so far. The crease is there. If you run your finger over it, you will definitely feel it. If the light hits it at the right angle, you will see it. Now, could this have been better? Yes, there are other foldable phones with better creases, but it doesn't bother me. Firstly, I'm someone who holds their phone towards the bottom, so I don't really feel it every single time I use my phone. But if you're someone who holds your phone towards the center, and you repeatedly run over the crease, it will drive you crazy to the point you want to bend the phone the other way. But there's something I don't like about the screen. Even when I'm directly looking at the screen, especially on Instagram, certain parts of it and on pictures as well looks indented. Like my pictures look like my face is caved in by like a baseball bat, but then when I send it to someone else, it looks normal. So that part I don't like. The hinge is surprisingly sturdy. Opening it with one hand is quite difficult unless you've mastered the art of flipping like me without throwing the phone on the floor. Although I do not advise you constantly open it with one hand. You know, you do have two hands and it would be a lot more gentle on the phone. Think about how much damage a wallet took to get this phone. Now for battery life, which is one of the 2 areas this phone has improved on. It's been good, surprisingly good. For the first week, the battery life on Samsung phones is at its weakest. After a week plus, it calibrates itself to match your usage and the battery life becomes much better. But even on the first week, I was surprised at how good the battery life was. This is of course thanks to the Snapdragon 8 Plus Generation 1, which is available in all regions. Thank God. Screw you, Exynos. This Snapdragon chip has made battery life excellent and gives excellent image processing. The chip in this phone is what makes it a flagship phone, because technically it does have a better chip than the S22 Ultra, because that has the Snapdragon 8 Generation 1, while this has the 8 Plus Generation 1. I guess the plus means a lot. But the plus does account for better battery life and more efficiency and less overheating. Now for the camera. The camera in this phone actually surprised me though. The hardware is a bit underwhelming. You just have 2 12 megapixel cameras, but the image processing thanks to the chip inside is what makes it really good. Photos are surprisingly sharp and detailed, but sometimes there's a bit of over processing and certain colors like skin tones get exaggerated, but overall the camera is a positive. Now the software is where things get a bit glitchy, because in some apps like Snapchat, whenever I send a snap to someone, the borders, the left and the right, get cut, and then there's like 2 black bars by the side, which some people tell me is really annoying, but I can't do anything about that. I'll try waiting for the next software update if that's gonna fix anything. Flex mode is surprisingly useful, especially if I want to see a photo and I'm typing as well. I can just put it into flex mode and then just use the bottom as a trackpad and then navigate throughout the photo. Flex mode is also useful when taking photos or taking videos as like a tripod, but apart from those 2 things, I don't use flex mode for anything else except flexing. The overall durability has been great. The body of the phone is made from armor aluminium, which is just regular aluminium, I guess, but with armor in it. What's up with these companies attaching fancy names to basic things like an element? Oh, wait, you've got the king of that.
We're calling it the Dynamic Island.
There are some advantages to actually having a phone that's relatively long and can fold into a smaller form factor. First thing will be pocketability, especially when wearing shorts. Bigger candy bar phones could fall out of short pockets or sweatpants, but this one stays still. If you're someone who uses a handbag or a purse, I don't use handbags, I don't slay, but I will say it does fit very well into running pouches. Now, would I recommend this phone? Yes and no. Different phones are made for different kinds of people, and if you're a kind of person who breaks regular bar phones, just look the other way because you would destroy this in a month. Not saying this phone is weak, but if you have broken your 3 past phones, you should not have your hands anywhere close to a foldable. I'm happy foldables have come so far, but apart from the screen being more fragile than a regular phone, this is a great phone that just folds.